We're joined by Seth Berenzweig, a partner at Berenzweig Leonard. He specializes in company and executive compliance issues. So, Seth, why is that the nail in the coffin?
Well, that was a concise way to slam the position of the defense. The defense theory is, look, the government's overreaching. This is all publicly available information, so therefore it's not non-public, it's not material. And he created a pastiche of basic public information that everybody has. So what's the problem? In the final rebuttal case, the government put that on where Raj was bragging to Danielle Casey, saying even if people have information that's circulating around there, what they don't know is the time. And the timing is the critical point. The government's case slammed the opposing expert and slammed all of the defense theories, saying you've got timing on Goldman, Akamai, AMD. That is the nail in the coffin. That was the rebuttal case, and I think that that was a very compelling point to put in front of the jury.
So we're an hour into those closing arguments right now. How does the defense change the momentum? Can they?
Well, it's going to be very, very difficult. There's a mountain of electronic evidence in this case. The wiretaps are by the dozens, and you've played some very critical snippets there. They have to demonstrate that the government cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Raj knowingly traded non-public material information that he received from people where he shouldn't have been receiving it. And they're going to say that the government can't make their case. He's conducting research. He is conducting a tight ship. But the problem with that is that the loudest case, the loudest voice in the courtroom that's resonating is from the voice of the person who never took the stand. Raj's voice is the most critical voice in the courtroom, and his lawyer didn't even let him take the stand. The jury understands. They hear loud and clear what's going on here. So Raj is fighting for his freedom. It's going to be very, very difficult. So the defense has a huge row to hoe in this situation, and I think that they're going to have a hard time fighting these tapes.
Was that the right decision? Is that a decision you would have made if you were the defense, to only allow Raj's voice to be heard on tape, not allow him to defend himself?
Well, he has a constitutional right to not be placed on the stand, to not be forced to testify against himself. That was a very difficult decision, but I think it was the only decision that the defense could make. Because if you put Raj on the stand, then the prosecution will be leaning into him, going over these tapes, and it would have been fatal. So I think that they made the only decision. It was a difficult choice, but it was the only choice. So right now you have a situation where the defendant is fighting for his freedom, and the prosecution is fighting to allow Wall Street to provide a green light to let retail investors and others know that fairness is going to come back out on the street, and that you're going to have this kind of evidence, and it's actually going to mean something at the end of the day.
Now, the government is not only targeting Raj here. They've got 26 different people as part of this massive hedge fund probe.
Right.
What does this do to the rest of the government's case here?
Well, this is... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, depending on how the jury, when they come back from deliberation, decides, what happens to those 26 others?
Right. Well, that's a great question, and that's why there's so much riding on this. This is a new era of high-tech prosecutions using wiretaps. They used to be used for drug traffickers and people who were running alleged mafia organizations. If the jury convicts on many or most of the counts in this case, that will usher in a new era of revitalized federal prosecution for the people that are under the microscope right now. But if Raj is able to beat the rap, then that's going to blow a huge hole in the confidence of not only the market, but of the ability of the prosecutors to believe that they're using the method that's most effective to be able to restore confidence in the marketplace. Candidly, I predict that there will probably be a prosecution on several of these counts. There's a crack in my crystal ball, so you can never tell for sure, and it's hard to read a jury, but I think that the defense has a very difficult road ahead for itself.
Yeah, 14 counts: securities fraud and conspiracy. We're an hour into that closing argument. We'll see, Seth, just how this fares. Thank you so much for your insight.